Right, I don't.
Okay, the question really wasn't so much a question as I wanted to have it on this little camcorder so I could, listen to it when I want to. But
Speak louder.
Louder. Can't hear you.
okay, it can hear me, but nobody else can.
Yeah, right.
Okay. It's always meant so much to me when I hear people talk about Baba's name and the significance, and I'd like to hear you talk about it and sort of, you know, Baba's name and in the historical sense how lovers through the ages have used it, because I don't know, and I just know it's so potent and so magical from my own personal self. I'd love to hear you talk about it.
Yes. Baba's name is what Baba asked us to repeat. In the last months of his ministry, especially, he was just constantly telling all of us to practice taking his name as continuously as possible. And he once had said that there is power in my name. There is more power in my name than even myself. And even I repeat my name. Yeah. So that's how much importance he gave to the repetition of his name. So you have to begin mechanically. Yeah. You have to make the effort to keep repeating his name throughout the day, whatever you are doing. It doesn't take any effort to take his name. No price to pay.
No price tag.
No scriptures to go over.
Is there a difference between repeating it out loud or just internally?
So internally.
Internally.
Otherwise people will think you're mad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you'll start attracting attention.
Yeah.
But by oneself, when one is by oneself, is there any advantage in saying it outwardly? I mean, if you're just by yourself,
If you want, you may, but it's
not
better to leave it inside you.
Because I always remember your mother cooking,
Yeah.
and I used to watch her, fascinated, and her lips were moving all the time. Yeah.
So while cooking, you can repeat his name. While listening to us, you can repeat his name. While you were asking me a question, I was repeating his name. That's how you repeat his name in your daily life. Don't set time aside for that. It's not a ritual. It's a way of life that happens. And then it will become a sort of support for you. When you have to face somebody, some occasion, you have to speak out or something, just keep repeating his name and face the crowd, and he takes over. Yeah. He takes over. Learn to do that. And it takes effort in the beginning. You have to make the effort to do this. Later on, it becomes a sort of habit. Then you just automatically keep repeating his name. Yeah. In all religions of the world, the Lord's name is been given prime importance. Yeah. So in the Christian, you have the rosary. The whole time people used to keep turning the rosary and as a help to repeat the Lord's name. In the Mohammedan religion, they have this same thing. Yeah. So the Zoroastrians used to have it. They used to have special beads, and they would just. My dad used to do it also. Yeah. He was a staunch Zoroastrian. And in the Hindu religion also, the importance of the name has been given prime place here. And all the saints and sages and perfect masters, they stress the same thing. Repeat the Lord's name. There was a song that came in on the radio this morning. In the mouth, let there be the Lord's name, and in your eyes, let there be the sight of the Lord. Let your eyes keep sort of steady on his form, and let your lips, your tongue, just keep repeating his name, and try to make him the being of your being. Yeah. That was the song that came, and it was by Tukaram, perfect master. He was in love with the Lord. Even though he was a perfect master, he showed how to love God. So constantly he was repeating the Lord's name. And it's quite a sweet little song that every now and then it comes. So even the perfect masters, they also say the same thing. The Lord's name. In the early days, I don't know if any of you have read the Ramayana. It's a great epic of Lord Ram when Baba was had incarnated as Ram, and he was, I don't know if you know Ram's life story, but he was married to Sita, and Sita was his counterpart, as it were. Each avatar has a counterpart, a female counterpart. So the story goes that there was this king in Ceylon. He was a demon king. His name was Ravan, and he had abducted Sita while Ram was not there. Ram was banished to the forest. There's a big story behind it. So when he was banished to the forest, he, along with Sita and his brother Lakshman, they went into exile, giving up the kingdom. And while they were in the forest, and Ram had instructed his brother Lakshman to stay near the cottage and keep watch, because Sita happened to notice a deer, and that deer was another demon that Ravan had sent to entice Sita. So it had a golden fleece on it, which was sparkling. And Sita tells Ram, I would like to have the skin of that deer. See how beautiful it is. So Ram goes after the deer. And the deer just leads away Ram far away. While Ram is going chasing the deer, he instructs Lakshman to take care of Sita, not to leave her under any circumstances. So Lakshman stood there, watched, and Ram was going after the deer, and the deer was leading it away, leading Ram away more and more distant. And eventually Ram was able to shoot it, and when he was shot, that deer uttered a loud cry in the voice of Ram, as if Ram was hurt. So hearing that, Sita could hear that, and she said, Lakshman, run and see what has happened to Ram. Why did he give out this cry? So Lakshman said, but my orders are not to leave you. She says, go, I order you to go. So he was in a quandary, what is to be done now? And she says, if you don't go, I'll get out. Go, I tell you, go. So then he draws a line with a piece of metal right around the hut and tells Sita, under no circumstances should you cross the line. Don't ever, while I'm away, at least do that. And he sort of put a mantra there so that no evil power could cross that line. And then he went in search of Ram. And sure enough, Ram was there. He had just killed the deer. And Ram said, why have you come here? What was my order? And he said, brother, what can I do? Sita ordered me to go, so I had to go. So he was displeased. He said, this isn't good. Doesn't augur well. So in the meantime, Ravan comes there in the shape of a rishi and begs for food. So Sita goes into the hut and asks the rishi to come in and take the food. And he couldn't cross that line. There was power in that line. So when he tried to get in, he got a shock. So he tells Sita, please come out and give me. She says, no, you please come in. He couldn't come in. So he says, if you don't give me, I'll go away without taking any alms from you. And so he stands outside the line and he sort of persuades Sita to give him alms crossing the line. As soon as she crossed the line, he grabbed her. And assuming his real form, he flew off to Lanka. He was a sort of a demon king who had powers of flying and all that. So that's the story. It's a long, long epic. And he abducts her and takes her all the way to Ceylon. And then Ram goes after the search of Sita. When he returns, he finds what had happened. And he tells Lakshman, see what has happened. You disobeyed me, and this is the result. So then they go in search, and eventually they find out that it was Ravan who had abducted Sita. And so they go right to the southern tip of India. It is said that Ram was wandering all over India. He had even come here in the Happy Valley that you
remember that.
all know. That's the place where Ram rested with Sita and Lakshman in the wanderings while being vanished in the forest. Eventually they go southwards, Ram and Lakshman, in pursuit of Sita, and they come to the southern tip of India. And then there is that ocean which separates Ceylon from India. So, in the meantime, there was a big monkey known as Hanuman, who became Ram's follower, and he brought all his tribe of monkeys by the thousands, and they all said, we would join you in your quest for Sita and help you to recover her. So when they came to the ocean, there was no way to cross. There were no boats, nothing at that time. So they suggested that they build a bridge across that narrow strait. It's a very tiny piece of ocean that separates Ceylon from India at one particular point. So the monkeys got busy hewing stones from the rocks over there, and Ram was on the seashore, and Hanuman would come and give the slabs of stone for Ram to put in the ocean, start making the bridge. And when Ram would let the rock down, it would sink, and thousands of slabs sunk and nothing happened. So Hanuman said, this won't do, and it's enough now. So he started to carve Ram's name on each slab. Ram, like that. And after that, he gave it to Ram. And it is said that when Ram put that stone in the water, it began to float. That's the power of his name. So all these stones that were later brought, they started floating on the waters. And it is said that a bridge was built across.
I never heard that story. Never heard that story before.
But Meherwan, add, this is a little side, but it's interesting. Share with them how actually Ravan wanted to, remember how the boon, how he wanted to
Get killed by Ram.
get killed by Ram, because
That I've
he
heard.
had been a devotee of the Lord, and he
Yeah.
was given a choice of either being able to serve him for so many lives or be killed by him to become realized. And he chose then I'll choose to be killed by Ram. So then the whole story unfolded for that to happen.
He purposely did this so that Ram would have to kill him. That was his salvation.
Yeah.
Eventually we all have to be killed by him. One way or the other. That's the only way we can get out of it. Lose ourselves in it. So the power of his name is like that. So this is recorded in the Hindu scriptures. And so in all religions, the importance of the name is always there. So it's given the prime place as a means to reach the Lord. The simplest way. It doesn't require any expense. It's free of charge. You can avail of it whenever you want. So Baba also said, make use of my name. And my name has the power to protect you from all the allurements of the world. If you constantly repeat my name, the allurements of the world will cease to affect you gradually. And you will become indifferent to it. Good food, beautiful women, riches, everything will become uninteresting. You will lose interest in that gradually. You will be there, you can be in all that, but without any attachment to it. So that's the power of his name. Another thing is, it also cleans up all the muck that is within all of us. All the lust, greed, anger, passion that we are all filled with. There's a huge mountain of all this within us. That has to be cleaned up. So this name starts to clean that up. It hollows you out.
That's how you get purity of heart.
Pardon?
That's how you get purity of heart.
Yeah, purity. That's the way to purify your heart. It will make you nice and clean and clear. When the time is right, you just become one with the name. So it's a double-edged weapon. It's a weapon of offense to keep all the allurements at a distance, and it's a weapon of defense for allurements, and an offense for cleaning up the inside. Two things it does. Double-edged weapon. Time and again Baba was telling us in the later months, last months, repeat my name, keep repeating my name. And he said, the whole world will start doing that. A time will come when the world situation will become so difficult and so stifling that the only recourse that will be left is they will start repeating my name. And the time seems to be coming close now. Everywhere there is chaos. Everywhere there is confusion. In the financial world, in the geographical world, conflicts, hatred, everything seems to be just cornering the mankind. And people don't know where to turn to, where to go for refuge. No place is safe, they feel. But if you are ensconced safely in his name, you feel safe in the midst of all this turmoil that is going on. So, repeating his name has these advantages. Anything else?
Not from me. David?
David has a question.
David.
Thank you so much for such a wonderful